It's your turn, asshole. Go. Fuck is wrong with your mother? Go on. Okay, I'm gonna start this shit show. So, as many of you know or don't care, I don't care. I'll inform you anyway because that's what a good daddy does. Is I made the allegation, I'll keep making it until I die or something good or positive or indifferent fucking happens. But since 2007, I'm claimed I've been under surveillance by state and federal law enforcement, blah, 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 blah. You guys don't care about that. But I think that Congress should pass a law if the subject matter, such as myself, identifies that he or she is under surveillance, automatically the surveilling agency or entity or entities should be compelled. Hold on a minute, I gotta deal with fucking stupid. Should be compelled to automatically turn over the records and admit why they've been following you, so what's happening to me does not happen to anybody else, okay? So that'd be a nice thing, so that everything is honest, transparent, but, we're not there yet as a society for our government to, be anywhere even close to being fucking honest. Those just scumbags. So the problem that I am incurring, and anybody else who alleges they're under surveillance will have the same goddamn thing, but most people are too dumb to know that you are under surveillance. If you have a smartphone, more than likely you're under surveillance. If you have a car, more than likely you're under surveillance through electronic means. Now, not everybody. I'm just saying, I've been going through this for a long time. More than anybody should ever have to endure. Basically torture. Basically just bullshit and fucking torture. In every aspect you could think about, of what torture could be, I've endured it. And I'm making a vow this year, whether I am, killed, sent to prison for the rest of my life, I'm going to get my life back this year. Or get a firm, hold on a process that I've created to get my life back. Because I'm fucking tired of my situation. I'm tired of, just being called crazy just because. And, here's something fascinating about how dumb, the average person is. You guys realize that I waited 3 years. I waited a whole 3 years to find something that the general moron could identify with as far as, hey, you know what? That motherfucker's a governmental agent. I waited and waited until these morons just started putting their hands in their pockets, okay? So that's something, I felt that the average, a person who gets up and goes to work, pays their taxes, does all that shit, that they could just, say, hey, you know what? That's interesting. And upon somebody has their hands in their pockets in a store and they're not getting anything out of their pockets, or hey, wow, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, wow, there's like 30 people all around swine with their hands in their pockets. Isn't that a little odd? And yet, I still get pushback because it's just, stupidity. Oh, well, swine. They just have their hands in their pockets. And, my brain obviously works in a completely different manner. If I see somebody that has their hands in their pockets and they're not getting their keys, a phone, they're not doing something productive, that's suspicious, okay? And I just don't understand why the average moron, you guys still fight me, tooth and nail. Oh, well, you've got to have a mental illness. You've got to be crazy, swine. Oh, well, why are you so important? And blah, blah, blah. And, if you break it down to just the minutia of this, you want to go to the micro maybe, and then we'll expand, to the actual macro, the bigger picture. But if you look at, just if you break it down and you chop it up into palatable, bite-sized, little chewable pieces so you can understand it and digest it properly, that, I would like anybody to try to get, a record from a FISA court. Or, try to get record from the FBI that aren't fucking, have black marker fucking fun all over it. Or, try to get record from your local law enforcement agency that you think you've been under surveillance. I mean, basically, you have to fucking sue them to get the records. And even then, you're not guaranteed to get the fucking records because then there's a fight. And so, I tolerate fucking stupid every single day of my life. I mean, if you guys realized how many times in a day, now, I'm not making this towards anybody directly, that I just want to just smash somebody in the face just because, see, here's the deal. I don't mind the surveillance, okay? That doesn't bother me so much. But what does bother... fucking stupid like this bothers me. Come on, go on. What really bothers me about the whole thing is not the surveillance. You want to watch me. I'm not doing anything wrong. So, surveil away, watch me. I'm not breaking the law. Okay, that doesn't bother me. But what bothers me is, what they do with the surveillance. Okay, so they try to kill me, run me off the road, poison me, try to falsely arrest me 6 times last year, alone, not to mention fucking 30 times fucking previously. And it's just like, if I'm going to do something in life, I don't care if it's fucking your mother's, your sister's, or if it's eating a sandwich, I want to be the best at whatever I'm doing. Okay, now, I know a lot of you have pride in your work, but a lot of you are fucking fat, lazy, and just need to fucking die. Okay, just being real. Yo, just keep it 100 with you. Okay, you feel me, bro? Keep it 100. Alright? So, the part that bothers me is, for fucking 3 years, I'm yelling and screaming on my phone, hey, that's not how to wiretap a phone. You gotta do it this way so I don't hear it. And it took the federal government fucking 8 years. It took them actually 9+ years to get the whole, illegal wiretapping right, so I can't hear it on the phone. Okay, so there's a certain way you gotta do it, and, the geniuses at fucking, Langley and fucking Fort Meade, they can't fucking figure that out somehow. And so it's just the mere incompetence of the whole thing that just pisses me off, because, I have pride in my work. I have pride that every single, I would say that my identifying process of governmental agents, I would put a 98%, a rating on it. Now, I am human, so you have to account for a margin of error. So I think about it 2% to 1.5% a margin of error. That's about my margin of error on doing that. But I take it very seriously. I just don't point my fingers and fucking, a twirl and twist and fucking click my heels and say, aha! You're a governmental agent. No, there's a process that I have. I have my own internal process that I process very quickly to discern either governmental agent, maybe crazy, or you're just somebody fucking out and about. I have my own process. I have, what are you doing? That I have, designed over the years. It's patented, and I'm not a cheap whore. So, anyway, I really can't look at the comments because, I am mobile. But, if you take anything away from anything that I say, number one, take pride in your work, motherfuckers. Take pride in what the fuck you do. Because, I am surprised that our country, as in the U.S., doesn't have a terrorist attack every single fucking day of the fucking week, 365. Because just the level of the incompetence that I'm dealing with, and I'm not dealing with amateurs. I'm dealing, upon professionals. I would say, some of the most professional intelligence agencies that the U.S. has to offer, I've been dealing with for a very long time, and they're incompetent. They're fucking morons. They're stupid. And it just, it frustrates the fuck out of me just on just a standpoint that I can't even fucking quantify upon, number one, Why isn't there a process by statute so that nobody has to go through this bullshit? There should be a statute that Congress has mandated. Hey, you know what? If you think that you are, for example, being followed by the CIA, then there's a process, or any federal agency. But, if you try to go through just the bullshit processes that these governmental agencies have, you'll get nowhere. You'll get fucking stonewalled, and I would just ask you guys to ask yourself this is one question. And if you get an answer relatively quickly, you're not brain dead. If you have to Google this or ask somebody, you're a fucking moron, and I think you should unsubscribe immediately to me. Just fucking go to fucking, Merb or News Now Rapist or to Noman or to Max or all the other fucking, channels that are actually just moronic fucking dumb channels, okay? But think about this. Why hasn't Congress passed a law that is far superior to, I believe it's like the 1986 federal wiretapping law? Basically, since then, we have the internet. We have, so much of our lives, our daily lives, are done electronically. And if you look at, I believe it's a 1986, 1987 federal wiretapping law. And a lot of states, they have laws that are similar. But if you look at these laws, they offer you no protection, okay? So if you go to law enforcement and you say, hey, you know what, pig, I think that your agency has illegally wiretapped my fucking phone. I want to file a report, and I want to know what the process is so I can prove that you're wiretapping my phone. Or if it's another agency, and they will look at you crazy. Or there's a gentleman that Eric Brandt knows that he was put in a fucking psychiatric hospital for 90 days for simply saying, hey, you know what, cop? I think that my fucking phone is hacked into. Can you please check that out? And they just, all this is nonsense. And something else I'd like to, bring to you guys' attention. How many are familiar with Gary Webb? Gary Webb, he's actually dead now. They say that he committed suicide, but I'm not convinced of that. I'm convinced, that he had been killed by the CIA. But back in, I believe, the 90s, Gary Webb was, I think at that time he had been a reporter, I think, for like 20 plus fucking years. Google Gary Webb, A Dark Alliance, and your computer and your Google will blow up. But basically, there's a movie that was made about him called To Kill the Messenger, and I believe Jeremy Renner played Gary Webb. And basically, Gary, he was a reporter, I believe, for the Sacramento, Mercury Times, I think. There's a little fucking shitting, a paper out in Sacramento. And a long story short, he was at the courthouse for something, and then he ran into a wife or a girlfriend of a drug trafficker. And this bitch was smart, and so the accidentally gave them documents they were not supposed to give them. Now, I've had that happen a few times where the state prosecutor gives me documents Anyway, so as I was saying, I've had it happen where the prosecution had given me documents I was not supposed to have. And so the United States Attorney's Office out there in California gave this defendant sensitive document. Basically, the CIA was involved in drug trafficking, and that he worked for the CIA. Okay, so then basically this drug trafficker's walking Gary Webb helps his defense attorney, and basically then he starts, going through other defendants and other people who are in this. If you guys Google a freeway Ricky Ross or Freeway, I can't fucking talk, I'm so irritated. Freeway Rick. Basically, a computer will blow up too. But basically, that was the Iran-Contra situation about the CIA. They flooded, South Central Los Angeles upon cheap cocaine, and then, Rick Ross figured out, hey, let's make crack. But anyway, so basically, if you read A Dark Alliance by Gary Webb, you will see that the CIA, they've been up to dirty fucking riot. It's amazing that I get about a month and a half. Anyway, oh, no, not back yet. We'll wait for it. Wait. Okay, I'm back now. So, about 9 years after Gary Webb broke the goddamn story, then he mysteriously ends up fucking dead. And if you go back through, the years of the CIA doing this tomfuckery, are there anybody who really exposes them or tries to hurt them? They just end up dead. And it's usually not right away. It's usually, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, and then, they die in a car crash on a single road out in Iowa, and there's no curves for fucking, 40 miles. It's always something, a suspect. It's always something bullshit. But anyway, I appreciate you little motherfuckers listening to my fucking rant and, bullshit. But, I am like Eric Brandt in one regard. And I can't say I'm like Eric Brandt. He just has a bigger platform than me, so I'll use his as an example. But, I was Eric Brandt before Eric Brandt knew he was Eric Brandt. If you don't know what that means, think about it. Just minus the fucking homosexuality and the cocksucking and the taking things in ass of the penis variety and mouth and all the penis and gay shit. Yeah. Anywho, but as far as, if I say something that I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. It may be, years down the road, but I'll eventually get to it. And so I am going to make a closing statement to all the motherfuckers, and I mean all the motherfuckers who have not bought back in. And if you don't know what that means, if I've had conversations with you, you know what it means. If you're not involved in the whole conspiracy, it's really not important to you. You don't have to buy back in because you haven't done anything to me. But for the individuals who have not bought back in and will not buy back in,